Okay. Thank you. I almost fell asleep. Did everybody have a good holiday? Yes? Okay. Thank you. Me too. Um, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Thank you. Councilmember Walsh,
Here.
Councilmember Bolin,
Here.
Councilmember Motney.
Here.
Welcome back, Councilmember Emay.
Thank you, present.
Councilmember Becker.
Here.
Councilmember Urban.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Councilmember Crable. Councilmember Crumpler.
Here.
Mayor Millawamboy.
Present here. And we are going to go ahead and move on to public comment. But before we go to public comment, let me just take a point of privilege and just say welcome back to Councilmember Emig. We are so excited to have you.
Thank
back.
you. Thanks, everybody.
I was going to do that during mayoral comments, but it would then by then it will be all over. So we're very happy to have you back. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and move on to public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
We do. We have 4 people to speak in person.
Okay. Public comment is an opportunity for speakers to provide their views and feedback to the City Council. It is also an opportunity for the City Council to hear diverse points of view. To maximize the impact of public comment and show respect for the expression of all views, speakers should maintain civility and focus on city issues. Speakers must identify themselves for the record, but are not required to give their address. Each speaker is given the floor for 3 minutes, and the council does not respond or engage in debate. Any speaker that engages in threatening or disorderly behavior will be deemed out of order and their time ceased. And seeing by the people we have in the back, it will be swift. So do we, who's the first speaker?
All right. The first speaker is Jackie Beyer, and then to follow Gary Lambert.
Okay.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I am Jackie Beyer. Today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. As a resident, as well as a representative of Back the Blue, Central Illinois, I want to express my sincerest appreciation for what the City of Bloomington's police officers do every minute of every day, 365 days a year. While some may think that police work is mostly traffic patrol and writing tickets, it is so much more than that. Bloomington's police force was dispatched to well over 21,000 calls for service in 2022. They responded to each and every call, every time, for every person. Their selfless service to protect each and every one of us is commendable. We are blessed with an excellent police force here in Bloomington, and I want to take the time to recognize them and thank them on this special day. Back the Blue, Central Illinois was founded to provide support, encouragement, and appreciation for all the good police officers in Bloomington and beyond. And we do so every single day on our private Facebook page of almost 12,000 members. On behalf of Back the Blue, Central Illinois, I would like to give the department this gift certificate for Dunkin' Donuts as a as a small token of our appreciation, because we all know cops need more donuts.
Okay, thank you very much. Mayor and council also like donuts. Next.
Next, we have Gary Lambert, and then to follow Liz Pierce.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Gary Lambert. For those of you, move around here just so you can see it. Most man's pants, locked here in front. Second. I recently purchased a new vehicle out of town and over in Monticello. I recently got a bill from the city of Bloomington for a Bloomington normal use tax. And evidently that's a 0.75% tax on the difference between your trade-in and your actual purchase price. So I went online and looked it up. And I found out we share that honor with the town of Chicago. To my knowledge, it's the only other area in the state of Illinois that charges that use tax. Then it said that that's deposited into the general fund. And of course, that builds up our surplus. And probably should be devoted to maintenance of the streets or whatever. But anyway, with all these taxes that we're so privileged to pay here in the town of Bloomington, I find that I no longer need to carry this big billfold in this big pocket back here, that after all the taxes are taken out, this here will do quite adequately. And I'm looking forward to our next tax increase that was voted in a few years ago. Councilman didn't like to be put in a position of having to go on record for voting in increases for the refuse fund. So we'll have another 3% increase on that. So I'll have a little more room in this front pocket. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Next up, we have Liz Pierce, and then Scott Steinling will speak last. Thank you. And while they're coming up, we did not receive any emailed public comment.
Okay, thank you.
I had bought a house about 8 years ago, but it's getting to be 9 years, and pretty much every Christmas it's most excruciating. I just want to try to bring it in to where I was appreciative to be allowed to do emails, which I had to jump to and try to adapt to on my Android because, and with trying to take a class coming up, basically, it's impossible to move easily. A lot of the mortgage would be twice as much as what I have. Like, I looked at a house Saturday, but I slept in my vehicle Friday night. And in regard to some police was across the street because someone was kind enough to allow me to go to their property. They were zooming back and forth and I saw officers with red and blue swirling lights. After that, I passed out around 11, slept until 3:11. There seems to be someone who's very obsessed with breaking my 24 hours up. I couldn't tell you if it's somebody I know, like who I was married to. But over the June to July, I was getting cleared where the short-term memory loss is gone from the chemo, and I'm starting to delve into where my mind is working a whole lot more. But a lot of what goes on, I heard a young guy, I don't know if it's 22 years old, in the 1209 property, which is where they usually hit my house up. They got, oh no, he didn't, quite the phrase, don't you know, of someone, they know who it is that zooms and hits my house. If it's not through the walls, making them seem like paper, they'll do something from vehicles, subwoofers, not just monster amps. Then they slam on screaming TVs. But this, I don't know about whether or not I'm in the clear to call non-emergency again. It's like, I'm still trying to do a surgery coming up, adapting, but I do know to be slammed, like, because I wasn't in the house, they worked extra hard Saturday into Sunday, 12 to like 3 a.m. Then they get me at 3 or 5 or 8, and then that 8 o'clock will go until 2. That's practically a work day. I've never lived anywhere in wherever I've lived to where you can't get up, or I can get on my own, get to where I had split hours for the phone company. But this is like, they will come in between 5 and 4:40 is when they did it today. They hit the ground with a messaging of how they calibrate their emitting noise. it's like they get online together and, when you're targeted like the Osip woman or the older black guy veteran, I'm thinking, how do I do this? I just sent some photos where this woman, they try to keep me from cutting my grass. They try to disrupt me as though the dog is controlling them. So I snapped some photos and got it to Intel and police. Just not really clear on what's best to do yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Last up is Scott Steinling.
Scott Steimling, I guess my concern is with the condition of the roads. The roads are so low that in places it's dangerous. The storm drains, the storm inlets have sunk down so low. It's dangerous to clean them out. Before I was cleaning them out, saving the city a trip out, I'll just call the city and let them come out and clean them out. I mean, there is no excuse for this at all. The materials were a lot lower years ago. The labor was a lot lower years ago, but the city just chose to ignore it and put it into what I call the slush fund. And, we've always got, this council always has money to do everything, but they don't have money to keep up the infrastructure. As you come into Bloomington, it should say, welcome to Bloomington, home of the potholes, rotten roads, high taxes. I'm embarrassed for people to know that I live in Bloomington. It's going to be to the point to where nobody can afford to live here except the very, very, very elite, like Tim Gleason. I think I've made my point. As far as the noise goes, we've got a noise ordinance that applies to boarding kennels. Why shouldn't it apply to the Coliseum? Why shouldn't it apply to City Hall? Why shouldn't it apply to anything? If they've got noise after a certain time, it's almost like it's okay. If the noise comes from the Coliseum, it's okay. But if it comes from barking dogs, it's not okay. Explain it. Noise is noise. Maybe this council can't explain it. If they can't, fine, say so. Also, the gas tax that went back on. The gas prices shot up. How do you know if the gas taxes are going to shoot up if you don't break it out? I wonder if a retailer would get away with that. They wouldn't. They've got to break that tax out. Why shouldn't the city have to break it out? How much is fuel? How much is the motor fuel tax? How much is the state's motor fuel tax? How much is federal motor fuel tax? Why? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
That's all the public comment.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a presentation of the City of Bloomington Police Department Police Officers Commission Certificate to Officer Brennan Burns upon completion of the probationary period as requested by the Police Department. And my notes here say call Chief Symington and Officer Burns forward. I'm calling you forward.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, Deputy City Manager. We appreciate this opportunity. I'm grateful to acknowledge Officer Brennan Burns, who will receive his commission this evening before council and members of this community. It is also a special day to do so, as noted earlier. It is January 9th, National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Officer Brennan successfully completed an intense 18-month probation, basic police training, which consisted of a 14-week police academy program approved by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, and an 18-week field training officer program with the Bloomington Police Department. He has chosen this noble profession, which requires a servant's heart, high integrity, and tremendous courage. These officers represent those who run towards danger and problems in this community without hesitation. Officer Brennan gladly serves with 123 other police officers who have taken the oath of office to serve in law enforcement and be difference makers in the community. I am very thankful for his sacrifices, valiant efforts, and commitment to duty on a daily basis. His biography. He was hired March 15th, 2021. Brennan grew up in Morton and attended Morton High School. He also attended Illinois State University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2020. While attending ISU and completing the requirements for his undergraduate program, he served as an intern with the Bloomington Police Department. He previously worked in loss prevention as a supervisor at Kohl's. This job gave him the opportunity to have a working relationship with the Bloomington Police Department. Brennan was always impressed with the professionalism and great work of the officers he had an opportunity to meet and work with. He's extremely thankful for getting the opportunity to become a Bloomington police officer and looks forward to spending the rest of his career here, I hope. He's joined today with his family. The journey to become a Bloomington Police Department could not have been accomplished without the love and support of them. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate the service that you've put in already and look forward to many, many more years for your full career here at the Bloomington Police Department. We're very excited to have you on board. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay,
Second.
and so motion by Councilmember Bolin and second by Councilmember Crable. And we do have a link for you to vote on. Are we good? We're missing Councilmember Crumpler.
It is actually there now. If we can refresh Phil, please. Thanks. You got it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, the consent agenda passes. There are no nays to announce. Our next item on the regular agenda is a consideration and action to approve a contract for the Police Benevolent and Protective Association for sergeants and lieutenants as requested by the Human Resources Department. And I'm going to turn it over to Deputy City Manager Titus for a quick recap.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and members of council, the city and the Police Benevolent and Protective Association, which represents in this case sergeants and lieutenants in the police department, began negotiating on June 16th of 2022, a replacement agreement for the one that had expired. Began negotiating with the city and city staff. The two groups reached a tentative agreement in December of 2022 that represents a 4-year contract with retroactive increases for 21, 22, and 23 of 2.5%, 2.5%, 4%, and 3.75% for the current year. The agreement, among other items, also provides a $1,000 signing bonus and changes to vacation schedules that align with other agreements that are currently in place. That agreement also allows for random drug and alcohol testing once per year, prohibits certain drugs, and changes the date for shift bidding, and created committees to discuss employee evaluations and disciplinary items. We believe this is an agreement and that we would recommend approval of this agreement. I know that we have certain people here, both Nicole Albertson, who's our HR director, Chief Symington, obviously our police chief. We also have members of the PBPA who are here, Lieutenant Klesson and Lieutenant Arnold, who are in attendance as well. And I also see Chief Bays and Walmsley in the back as well. Again, we recommend approval of this agreement. There were ongoing discussions and we ultimately came to an agreement that we feel works for all. We'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Okay, Councilmember Cribble.
I would move to approve as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second.
Okay, second. Just doesn't look like we have any discussion, so we can just go ahead and put up the link. Oh. Okay, the item passes. There are no nays to announce. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is city manager's discussion and, well, deputy city manager discussion in this case.
Thank you much, Mayor. Appreciate it. I think we have two slides tonight. We have the Tour de Chocolat, which is going to be held in downtown Bloomington, February 3rd from 5 to 8 p.m. And it's sponsored by Ferrero. And so we're excited for that event. We encourage everyone to attend this year. It's going to be a great time. Next slide, please, Phil. Got a couple of other events that are happening as well. We've got the January Farmers Market, which is going to be held at the arena January 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., as you can see. And then we've got vendor applications that we'll be accepting from February 1 to March 1st. You can see the email address for that on the screen. Again, we encourage people who want to participate to get their applications in. It's always a great event. It's always very, very positive, and we're seeing a lot of traffic to those events. So other than that, I don't believe there's any more slides, Phil. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Not much to say on the mayor's discussion. Just want to wish everybody a happy 2023 and looking forward to what 2023 can bring. And once again, want to say welcome back to Councilmember Emig. We are so glad that you are back. And we're going to go ahead and this is the year of being brief. So move on to take a cue from me to council member discussion. Councilmember Cribble.
Yeah, I just wanted, on the consent agenda, just wanted to recognize the great work of our Economic and Community Development Department. We had a property that was dilapidated, was going through administrative court. Owners were not able to maintain it. And through the Illinois Housing Authority, we're able to receive funds to demolish a building and give it over to Habitat for Humanity for some other family to live there.
Thank you. Other comments? No, okay. I guess at this point, we're going to go ahead and ask for a motion to.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And may